Hello and welcome to another week and another episode of the review show. And boy, do we have a show for you tonight. So prepare yourselves, ready, set, bake for the latest episode of the Great British Review Show.
Yes, so this week we are reviewing the Great British Bake Off of 2020. And boy, is it nice to have it back on our screens. That's my first feeling, really. It's just given a sense of normality, mainly because they all isolated together and stayed in the same house. So they were in a bubble, and so that meant they were able to carry on as if it was normal. So there's hugging, there's handshaking. You couldn't do a bake-off without the Paul Hollywood handshake. It wouldn't be the same doing the Paul Hollywood elbow bash, would it? Really, just wouldn't have the same effect, would it? So yeah, that's the main feeling, really. It just feels normal, and it's just some escapism, really, from 2020, and makes you forget that anything's happened this year, like a pandemic. And I have to say that the addition of Matt Lucas with Noel Fielding is a stroke of pure genius. I was very skeptical initially when he was announced to be replacing Sandy. I just didn't think it was going to work. I thought, well, he hasn't done presenting before. He's sort of an actor. And to be honest, I was expecting them to fill the position with another woman, because obviously Sandy had left. So I thought I was just expecting another woman. So it was quite refreshing to see that they didn't go with that, and they decided to go with something very different. Apparently, it was Noel's idea to make Matt audition. That's what I heard fairly recently. I don't know where it was, but apparently that was the story behind it. And I think it's brilliant. They work really well. There's good banter between them. They're kind and caring towards the contestants. I think all the contestants seem to be characterful this year. Sometimes you get a load of boring contestants, but there's some quite good characters in there. And of course, Paul and Prue are, as usual. So everything is good on the Bake Off, I think, this year. And I think you have a few things to say.
I've always been wary of watching Bake Off since it moved to Channel 4. Obviously, uh, we both loved the BBC One Bake Off. We bonded over Bake Off in first year of university. So I'm trying to get to grips without Mary Berry, and Mel and Sue. Was always something that I felt was going to be tricky, but it wasn't tricky at all, because Prue provided the same sort of sophistication as Mary always brought. And as you said before, Noel Fielding and Matt Lucas, that pairing is an absolute stroke of genius. The only issue I have with Bake Off now is the adverts, but of course, we live in a wonderful age of recording or of premium streaming services. So both of us can skip the adverts as and when we feel like it. So yeah, hats off to Channel 4 for keeping up the standard of Bake Off.
Absolutely. I mean, it is essentially exactly the same. If you didn't know if there weren't adverts in there, you wouldn't know that it was a different show. Really, it's exactly the same format. It's the same music. It's got the whole thing is the same, really. So yeah, well, all I do is either I watch it on catch up, or we just record it and then skip through the adverts. So it's actually absolutely fine. And I think, well, this is the first really upbeat review that we've done, I think, isn't it? I think it's one of the better things on TV right now, and it's not difficult to do, but
I think
uh,
it's the most upbeat review that we've done together.
yes. Um, but yeah, because so far Britain's Got Talent was appalling. Strictly weren't too sure. Because the problem is with those shows, they didn't feel normal, and it all felt forced. And so this feels normal. So it's really nice to have that reassuring Bake Off that we all know and love, I think. So yeah, I think that just about sums up what we have to say about it. So we'll close things there, and please remember to like and subscribe, and comment your thoughts below the video as well, because we'd like to hear what you think of Bake Off, whether you think it's different this year, whether you like the addition of Matt Lucas, whether you miss Sandy Toksvig, who was brilliant. And also, one more thing I will say is I will encourage people to watch the Extra Slice, which is the spin-off show, which they do on a Friday, which is really good as well. So Channel 4 have nailed it as far as I'm concerned. I think it's an absolute success. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time for another review.